Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm here today with like the ultimate book slash New Year reset video. We're going to kind of combine it all into one, do a few lifestyle reset bits, do some bookish reset bits, work on my book journal for 2026. I'm going to start today's video with an unhaul. We're going to get straight into it. I rearranged my bookshelves. That video will be coming in a week or two after this one. And I was quite ruthless, to be honest, with the books that I have unhauled, and there might even be more before the end of this video. If there is, I'll insert it after this clip. But yeah, I was quite ruthless with the books I am getting rid of. I just want my bookshelves to be full of books that bring me joy, not books that I look at and think, I didn't like that. I don't want to walk in here, look at my shelves and think, oh, I didn't like that book. I want to look at my shelves and be like, wow, I'm inspired to read because I love all these books so much. So we're getting rid of books that don't spark joy. The first two are from the same series by Becca Mack, Consider Me and Play With Me. I actually like these books. These are both like 3.5 star. I think I actually might have given Consider Me 4 stars at the time. But I DNF'd the third book in this series. I won't be continuing with it. The third book drove me up the wall. Even this second one, Play With Me, this started to annoy me. And then it was just like this on crack in the third book. And I just could not get on board with it. And I don't love either of these enough to hold on to them and then not read the rest of the series, if that makes sense. So I just thought I might as well get rid of these. I'm never going to carry on reading them. I'm never going to reread these. Even though they are beautiful, I'm just going to let these ones go. We've also got another series. The books are kind of all over the place in the stack. But I am going to unhaul, not in order, as I'm going to hold them up, but no one cares. The entire Briar You series by Elle Kennedy. I've read the first two. Did I actually finish the third one? No, I actually did finish the third one. I was going to DNF and I didn't. I gave the third one 0.25 stars. I didn't even love the first two. I gave the first one 3 stars, the second one 3.75, which was, looking back, too high because I didn't really enjoy it. And I have no interest in reading the fourth book. I read the first few chapters and it just bothered me. Elle Kennedy is an interesting woman. I love Off Campus, it's God tier. However, I read it quite a few years ago. And I read it when I was at a very difficult point in life and I just needed escapism. So I think I overlooked things when I read those books that I just don't overlook now that I'm fully cognizant. And these books are just full of issues. Like, there's so much misogyny in these books. Homophobia, specifically towards lesbians. Like, it's just not for me. It's just not something I want to overlook in my books. It completely takes me out of the story, obviously, when anything like that happens. I could not immerse myself in these. She butchered every character she's ever written in these books. And yeah, I just have no interest in finishing the fourth book. And the third one was so bad that it soured my before quite neutral opinions on the first two. So we're just going to get rid of the whole series, pretend it doesn't exist. I'm also going to unhaul Legend Born by Tracy Deonn. I have read the first 2 books in this series and I won't be continuing. I think it's an incredible series, I do. I'm just not invested in it. I don't have personal interest in this kind of fantasy. It's like a King Arthur, that kind of vibe. If that sounds good to you, this is an incredible series. I would read it if that sounds like something you'd be interested in. I'm just personally not. And like I said, I'm not going to continue this series, so there's no point me hanging on to this one. But I would recommend it. I don't think it's a bad book. Something I do think is bad is Servant and Dove by Shelby Mahorian. I read this a few years ago and I held on to it on the off chance that I was going to continue the series. But I'm just not going to. I hated the characters in this book and that's something I can't get past. If I hate the characters, it's going to be quite hard for me to want to continue a series. I don't like bad writing, but I can look past it if the plot and the characters are good enough and the writing grows throughout the series. If the plot wasn't great, but I love the characters and I can see the potential, I can carry on a series. But I hated them. Well, specifically the man. The woman was fine. I just hated the male main character so much in this book, which is kind of the point. But I don't think it was enough of the point. I don't think you were supposed to hate him to the level that I did. And I have no interest in reading about him anymore, so I'm finally going to decide to DNF this series and just let this book go. It's not the one for me and that is okay. Need I say more? I unhauled all of my other Colleen Hoover books a very, very long time ago. I never read that many of them, to be honest. I only had like 3 of them maybe, and I unhauled them. The only reason I kept this is because it's the little special edition and I did tab it because I actually liked this book. But I just don't like Colleen Hoover. I don't like any of her other books. This one was very average. I think I just was so happy to finally find a Colleen Hoover book that I actually liked, because this is the only one that I have really liked, that I kind of inflated it in my head, if that makes any sense. It's not actually as good as I made it out to be in my own head, so I'm just going to take my tabs out and just get rid of this. I have no desire to have any of her work on my shelves. Another series that I am unhauling, I don't know where the other 2 are. Are they in this stack? There's another one here. I think there's 2 more around the room, but the Never After series by Emily McIntyre. I've read the first 3 and DNF'd the 4th one. I only liked the second one, and I've tried to read 4 books now. Again, I don't think this is a bad series. I just think maybe it was a fluke that I was just in the mood for this kind of book when I've read the second one. These are like, they're not retellings of Disney tales, but they are based on Disney tales, but it's about the villain. So like, for example, The Lion King, but you follow the villain. The Wizard of Oz, but you follow the villain rather than the nice main characters that you follow in the Disney stories themselves. These are quite dark. I don't know really on the scale, I don't read much dark romance, so I don't know on a scale how dark they are. Not massively, I wouldn't say, but dark enough that I'm just not in the mood for them. And these are on Kindle Unlimited, so if ever I am in the mood for this kind of book, I can support the author, read it for free because I already have KU, and not have these sat staring me down on my shelves and feeling pressured to read them. Like, I don't need them on the TBR cart. I don't look at them on my shelves and think, wow, I love that series. I just don't need to own them. I can access them for free and support the author if I ever am in the mood to read these books. One that I'm quite sad about is Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. I DNF'd The Ragpicker King. I only gave this 3 stars, but it's beautiful. But I only gave it 3 stars. But I wanted to read The Ragpicker King to give it a chance because there was like so much potential in here. But I think the pacing of this series is so wild. And by wild, I mean slow and boring. I'm so sorry. I know some people love this, which is great. Love that for you. I just didn't. And there's no point me hanging on to this if I DNF the second book and therefore won't be continuing with the series, as beautiful as that edition of the book is. Another series that I am unhauling, Legend by Marie Lu. I adored the first book. This was such a good YA dystopia. But the series went downhill because I cannot stand Day, who is the MMC in this book. He is a main character, he has his own chapters, it's a dual point of view series, and I hate reading in his head because I hate him. So it just went downhill for me, unfortunately. I barely finished the 3rd book, which is really a shame because this was like a 4.25. I really loved this first one. But again, if I don't like the characters, it's really hard for me to like a book, so I am just going to pass these along. I'm also going to unhaul the Twilight series. The rest of it is over there, but I just can't be bothered to pick it up. I read this one, gave it 2 stars, and then DNF New Moon. I think if you read these when you were younger, I can understand the nostalgia, or if you watched the films as a kid and then read the books as an adult, I get the nostalgia. I just don't have any connection or any nostalgia with Twilight. I did watch it, and I think I read the books when I was a kid, but I just don't have the same, I don't know, I just don't have the same feelings towards it that I do with like The Hunger Games and Divergent and things that I've really held on to and reread and rewatched. I don't have that at all with Twilight, so again, there's no point hanging on to them when I'm not going to continue the series. I hated this book, I DNF'd it, so I'm going to get rid of it. Same with Nora Goes Off Script, I DNF'd this. I will read another Annabelle Monaghan book. Some of them are on KU, so I'm definitely going to give another one a go maybe in the summertime. This was so insta-love, so stupid, and I just really didn't like it and DNF'd. So again, we're not going to hang on to it. I'm not going to try and read this again. I know I don't like it. It's not just that I'm not in the mood. There are things in here that I actively don't like in romance books, so I know I'm never going to come back to that one. I've also DNF'd the Shadowhunters universe by Cassandra Clare, so I am going to unhaul my like older copy of City of Bones and the Shadowhunters Codex. I've already unhauled all my other books. I just held on to these because I don't know. These weren't the same covers as the other ones that I had that I unhauled, but there's no point. I'm not going to continue the series. I've read the first 6 books and I'm not obsessed with them. I'm not saying I'll never ever read them. I think that is a series that I could be convinced to try again. But right now it's just not the top of my priority list, so I'm going to unhaul both of those. The stack is getting very big and I fear it's going to fall over, but we are nearly done. And then the last 2 books to unhaul are 2 books by Elena Armas, The American Roommate Experiment and The Fiancé Dilemma. I'm hanging on to The Spanish Love Deception and The Long Game because I loved both of those books. Even though this is part of a series with The Spanish Love Deception and this is part of a series with The Long Game, I'm just going to get rid of them. I don't feel the need to hang on, especially when they're interconnected. It's different when the books are like numbered in a series. Then I do feel the need to either have all or none. But because these are interconnected standalones, I'm fine to keep the ones that I liked and just get rid of the ones that I didn't. I've held on to these for far too long. They never bring me joy when I look at them. So off they go. And that is it for now for the unhaul. I'll insert a clip here if there are any other books that I unhaul before the end of the year. But now for the rest of the day, I am now going to go out for a walk. It's around 11:30, I think, 25 past 11 in the morning. I'm going to go for a Boxing Day walk. It's Boxing Day for me today. If you're not in the UK, that's just the day after Christmas Day, but it's like an extra holiday for us. So I'm going to go for a nice walk, clear the mind, reflect. I am going to listen to an audiobook, but you'll have already seen a vlog. I'll tell you what I'm reading. It's Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross. but you'll have already seen a vlog where I'm reading it, so I won't bore you by talking about it here again. But yeah, I'm gonna go out, listen to my book, have a nice walk, get out in nature. It's gorgeous and sunny outside today, so I just want to get out. One of my goals for 2026 is to just ground myself a lot more, and for me, a big part of that is being out in nature. I feel very, very grounded when I am out in nature, especially when it's nice and sunny. It's not warm, it's freezing today, but that's fine. I don't mind if it's cold, as long as it's like dry and sunny. I just love being outside. So yeah, that is the plan for right now. And then I think this afternoon I'm going to do some book journaling. I've got some pages I need to fill in, I've got some full spreads that I still need to do. I've just filmed before this my January TBR, so I need to make a January spread for my book journal so that I can write down what my TBR is for the month. So yeah, we've got quite a few bits to do today. This vlog won't just be today, I'm going to vlog like the whole week. Whenever I'm doing something bookish / reset-ish, I'll just include it in this vlog. But yeah, let's go out for a nice Boxing Day walk. It's time for me to set my 2026 goals, both reading goals and just life goals, and I thought I would just briefly talk about how I'm going to do it. I don't think I'm going to go through all my goals. I will go through my reading goals when we get to the book journal section of this video, because I'm going to do a spread that includes my reading goals. But basically, the way that I'm going to set my 2026 goals is I'm going to sit now and do a mind map of everything that made me happy in 2025. And then I'm going to branch off each of those things and kind of think about how I can do more of them in 2026. So for example, something really small that made me happy in 2025 was having fresh flowers in the house. So then off that I would put like buy fresh flowers weekly when I do the food shop or something like that. Like a practical way to implement the things that make me happy into my life in 2026. I'm then going to do a mind map of things that didn't make me happy in 2025 and think about either how I can eliminate them completely from my life, or where that's not possible, think about just basically how I can diminish the effects of those things, if that makes sense. So like cleaning my house, I hate, so I can think of ways to make cleaning my house easier so that I hate it less, so that it makes me less unhappy. And then I'm going to do a third mind map of things that I want to try in 2026 that I didn't get to in 2025, or that I just didn't think of this year, that I think would also make me happy. Hope that makes sense. So I'm going to sit and do my mind maps now, and then I think I'm going to go out for yet another walk so I can reflect. I just love walking and it's nice and sunny, but the sun is going to go down, so I need to hurry up. So let's get on with our mind maps. I've just sat and done my mind maps, and obviously I'm going to add to these. Like, I don't think I can think of everything all in one go. I'll definitely add to these over the next few days, but I'm glad that I did that. It's nice to just sit and reflect. I started thinking about these things whilst I was on the walk that you just saw. So yeah, it's nice to sit and reflect, not only about 2025 but also what I think could make me happy going forward that maybe I've not tried and I've not implemented in my life yet. For me, that's not things such as getting up at 5 AM. That wouldn't make me happy. It's really simple things like going on more walks, buying fresh flowers. I want to try and do a Pilates class next year. I currently do Pilates at home, and I think it'd be cool to try an actual class. Things like that, just really little things that are personal to you, and it doesn't have to be things that you've seen online like drinking celery juice and getting up at 5 AM. It's just what makes you happy. I'm very lucky in that in 2025 I had two big goals. One was to move into my forever home, and one was to progress in my career, and I did both of them. So 2026 for me isn't about those big goals, and that's not to say it's obviously not going to be for other people, but just for me personally, 2026 is going to be about the little things and just bringing like casual magic into my life and thinking about how I can make myself happy in really small ways on a day-to-day basis. We will now get into the book journal portion of this video, where we will go through my reading goals and I'll show you just generally what all my spreads are looking like for 2026. Hello. I do still have the Christmas decorations up because as I'm filming this, it's the 31st of December. So for me, it's still 2025, but I wanted to show you a flip through of my book journal. I did some more book journaling last night. I was feeling a little bit anxious. So I just wanted to do something that took me out of my head. So I did my intro page and my 2026 goals page, which were the last kind of main spreads that I needed to do. I haven't done all my monthly spreads. I think I'm just going to do those like as the months come by whatever vibe I want to do. But yeah, I thought it was finally time to show you a flip through of my journal and talk through my 2026 goals. I'm also just going to put my 26 books I want to read in 2026 in this video. I don't think I'm going to film a separate video for that. I think it makes sense just to go through it now. I don't know how to do that. Shall I just hold it up? And like, I think I'm going to do it like that because if I hold the phone, I don't have a phone tripod and I'm filming this on my phone, and if I hold the phone, it's going to be shaky and that's going to be annoying. Let me shuffle a bit closer so that you can properly see. So this is literally as you open the book, the first two pages. This one is just like a little intro page, cute stickers, and then just my 2026 year in books little title. This is my 2026 goals page. So I saw on Pinterest an inspo picture of someone doing it coming out of an envelope, and I thought it was so cute. So I did the same thing, just a little purple envelope, again, stickers. And I'll just quickly read through what my reading goals are. I've left a bit of room purposely here in case I think of any more. If I don't, I'll just put like some flower stickers or something to cover up that gap. My first two are specific genres that I want to read more of. So I want to read more historical fiction and more dystopia. They are the two genres that I used to read the absolute most of before I started this channel, before I got into fantasy and romance. And I really want to get back to reading more of them. I love both of those genres and I just don't read enough of them anymore. So I really want to read more. I've not put a specific number on it because I don't want it to feel like a chore, but I definitely want to read more of them in 2026. Something I have put a number on is I want to read 6 classics, because every year I say I want to read more classics and then I'll read like either none or one. Yeah, I just want to read more classics. We've got Emma by Jane Austen on the January TBR, which will have already gone up before this video. So in my mind, that's like one classic every other month. So even if I start one every month and it takes me 2 months to read, that's fine. We can still read 6 within the year. The next one is to have a manageable physical TBR. I felt really overwhelmed by my physical TBR last year, which is such a stupid thing to feel overwhelmed about in the grand scheme of life. But just having books physically, I love it, but I feel like they're staring me down if I'm not reading them. So I really want to have it be more manageable this year, where I buy books and read them within a couple of months of buying them. So it means that I'm always excited about the books on my TBR. I don't feel like I have to read them because they're just sat there and they have been for 3 years. I don't want any books to remain on my TBR for longer than a couple of months. If I'm buying it, I need to be reading it. I read every book on my physical TBR last year, so we've gone into this year completely starting from a clean slate, which I'm so happy about, because it means that I am excited about every book on my physical TBR, and it is feeling very manageable, so I want to keep that up throughout the year. The next one is to reduce my Kindle TBR by at least 50%. You will see on one of the spreads how many books I own on Kindle. I'm not talking about KU, I'm talking about books that I own on Kindle, and it's absurd. So I really want to cut that down. I get why, like I was focusing on my physical TBR last year. That felt more pressing because they were like physically there in my house taking up space. This year, we need to start reading the books that I bought on Kindle. There's so many on there that I am so excited about, but I kind of neglect it because I can't see them unless I literally go and scroll through. So I've done a spread in here to show my whole Kindle TBR. And then the last one for now is to buy more books secondhand. I used to buy all of my books secondhand a few years ago and never used to buy new books. Obviously with like new releases and things, I'm not banning myself from buying new books. If I want to buy a new release, I can. But just where possible, especially because I want to read more different genres this year and not just all new releases. I want to read a lot of books that have been on my backlist, like on my radar for a few years. I want to buy them secondhand wherever I can. So that is the first 2 spreads. The next one is the 2026 books that I want to read in 2026. So I'll just quickly run through these. Not all of them, but the majority of books on this list, again, have been on my radar for quite a while. And for some reason or another, I just haven't read them in favour of like hyped books or new releases. And I really want to focus on books this year that I think I will enjoy. I still want to read hyped books. I think it's so fun. I want to read Heated Rivalry. I think it's so fun to get in on the hype with people, but only when I think I'm actually going to like the books. I really want to make sure I'm choosing quality over quantity this year. So I want to read The Crimson Moth by Kristen Cicerelli, The Best Thing by Mariana Zapata, A Curse So Dark and Lonely, I think that's by Bridget Kemmerer, I've not got the authors on here, The Book of Asriel by Amber Vina Cole, I believe, 7 Days of June by Tia Williams, Stalking Jack the Ripper by Kerry Maniscalco, The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern, Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro, Romance in the Duke, I think that's by Tessa Dare, The Diviners by Libba Bray, The Great Gatsby, The Bodyguard by Catherine Center, Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan, Phantasma, I think it's by Kaylee Smith, I think, Blood Over Brighthaven by ML Wong, Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir, I think, The Bear and the Nightingale, I can't remember who that one's by, I've got that one on my Kindle, Great Expectations, Beartown by Frederick Bachman, Mansfield Park by Jane Austen, Emma by Jane Austen, Spiral by Bal Cabra, Songlight, I can't remember who that one's by either, The Things We Water by Mariana Zapata, Swear on This Life by Renee Carlino, and The Will of the Many by James Islington. So that is that little spread. And the plan is that once I've read them, I will colour them in to make this like a nice, cute, colourful spread. And again, I went for like a floral theme on this one, a lot of pinks and purples and flowers. The next spread, if I can get it open, is the dreaded Kindle TBR. I actually had to add extra pages. So this started by me drawing 2 Kindles. I have the green Kindle, so I went with green. But then I have so many that I have had to add. Like, it's absurd. It's genuinely absurd. I haven't bought all of these. I get a lot of them for free. I'm signed up to this newsletter. I can't remember what it's called. I'll put the name on the screen. And they basically send deals of like Kindle books that are free and 99p. So I get a lot of them through that. You put like what genres you're interested in and then they send you an email every day with the books that are on sale. I should probably unsubscribe for the time being. But with this one I went for a different vibe. I went for like a more, I don't know what to call it, like a cartoony kind of theme rather than like the cute florals that we went with here. I went for quite a different vibe on this page. The journal isn't a cohesive vibe. I just went with whatever style I wanted to do on each page. But yeah, I'm not going to read through all these books because we'll be here all day, but this is my Kindle TBR. You will see this in various videos. I'm going to do reading vlogs and stuff where we choose from these lists, so you will get to see what is actually on them. I just don't want to bore you to death by sitting here and reading them out. The next one is my physical TBR, which, as I said, is quite manageable. These are all the books that I physically own that I haven't read at the minute. The plan is that as I buy books throughout the year, I will add the titles into these gaps. On this side, I just did a TBR cart and then I did shelves over here. And then again, I've left a bit of space. If I need an extra little half shelf, I can put one there and like a stack of books or something down there. So I've purposely left a bit of room just in case. But I honestly don't anticipate buying that many books this year because I've got such a big Kindle TBR. But I didn't want to stress out and not have enough space. I'd rather have too much than not enough. Again, I went for a little bit of a florally kind of vibe, but like a mixture. A florally, but then with like some cartoony stickers as well. Then we've got 2 different things here. So this is my book bingo. I've just done like a series of prompts that I thought would be fun to try and hit, like a book over 1,000 pages, things like that. And again, I will colour these in as I fulfil the prompts. And then here, again, it's just a bit of fun. I'm not going to put too much stock into this, but I'm going to try and read a book that starts with every letter of the alphabet. I don't think I'm going to count the word the. I think I'm going to ignore the word the to make it a bit easier, and I'll just write the titles on each of those little bits of paper. Again, 2 different things here. We've got a genre tracker, so I'm just going to do like a bar chart kind of thing, colouring a little square every time I read a book in each of these genres. And then on this side, it's an absolute mess. I made such a mess of this, I didn't use a ruler. I'm going to put my top 12 books. It doesn't necessarily have to be a book from every month. I think I mentioned this before, like, I'm not necessarily going to have to put a book from every month. One month I might have 3 absolute favourites, one month I might have none. But I'm going to put my top 12 books and then blah, 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 and then the winner will go at the bottom. And I've got my series tracker that I have now filled in. So the empty squares are the books in the series that I haven't read and the coloured in ones I have. I think what I might add to this is in the empty squares, I might write down, if the book isn't released yet, I might just put like November 26. So I know that it's coming out in November this year, for example, for some of them. Just so I can look at this at a glance and see like how many of these am I in the middle of and it's my fault, and how many am I in the middle of but the books aren't actually out yet. I think that could be helpful. And then I've got a new releases tracker. I always get a bit lost with new releases, so I thought it'd be nice to have a little spread where I just write what new releases come out every month. I love this spread so much. I've got my ratings tracker, so I'm going to colour in each square based on the rating I give the book, and I've done like a little key down here at the bottom. Then we've got my yearly stats page. Again, this is a little bit of a mess, and I've not decided what to do at the bottom. I don't know whether to just fill this with like collagey bits and stickers, or whether to do like little boxes and put like totals. I'm not fully decided yet, so I've just left it blank. But these are the things that I'm going to be tracking this year, the months down the side, and then obviously along the top, the things that I want to track. So it's mainly the number of books that I've finished and the number that I've DNF'd, and then what format I read the book in. So Kindle, physical, or audio, and then whether I owned the book or whether I borrowed the book. It literally doesn't matter. I just think it's interesting to know. And then the last spread that we've got for now is my January spread. So on this side, I've done my TBR. I just stuck in like a little piece of paper. I crumpled up a piece of paper, stuck that in, and then put like a non-crumpled one over the top. I went for a blue vibe. In my head, January is a month associated with the colour blue, because we all have the January blues. So I went for like a blue with a bit of a green. And then this is where I'm going to write down the books I actually read. So I'm going to write the book, the rating, what format I read it in. And then a column that's a bit niche is I put vlog. I don't like to be too repetitive on my channel with the books that I talk about. Obviously, mentioning it in a vlog doesn't mean I'm never going to mention the book again. But I just want to track whether I've read a book as part of a vlog or not, so that I know if I've already mentioned it and I'm like being repetitive. As I said, a bit niche. But yeah, that is my book journal. I'm so excited. I'm so happy with it. There's definitely some spreads that I don't love. Like this page, I'm not really a fan. But overall, I had so much fun doing this. I'm so excited to do a little spread like this every month. And yeah, I'm so glad that I finally decided to do a book journal this year. So that is my book journal for 2026. I do still need to do the front cover, but I don't know what to do with it. I don't know whether to keep it simple or whether to full on like collage it. I don't know yet. So I've just not done it.
And that brings us to the end of this video. I am just laid editing it. It is now officially the new year. I'm having a slow start to the new year. I am implementing my goals slowly. Today for me is the 2nd of January. And I think this is going up on the 3rd. Yesterday on the 1st, I did nothing. I've rotted on the sofa. I didn't eat particularly healthily. But that's fine. Like, you don't actually have to wake up on the 1st of January and change your entire life. It's literally fine to just slowly start to improve your life only in the ways that you want to improve it. Don't feel pressured in the new year to change things that you don't want to change. If you don't want to get up at 5 a.m. and you don't have to, don't. If you don't want to eat a particular type of food because you don't like it, don't. Literally just do what makes you happy. Do what you have to do to get by. And that's it. You don't have to, just wake up on the 1st of January and do everything right or the way that you think you're supposed to do it. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Please give it a thumbs up down below if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.